Hey, this is John Starks. You be down here on the street and you watching Taking Stock.
Special thanks there to the New York Knicks legend John Starks for kicking off the broadcast today. 2 minutes to go here until the closing bell, and 1 day to go until Game 5 of the NBA Finals. We are more than just a little bit hyped up down here at the New York Stock Exchange. Now, contrary to what you may have heard, I want to correct some bad reporting out there. I am not the world's first trillionaire, but rest assured today on the show, we're going to talk a lot more about the man who is, as all eyes here on Wall Street, closely following the highly anticipated IPO of SpaceX. Materials, financials, utilities, those are your strongest performing sectors in the S&P 500 on this Friday, June 12th. Thankfully, the data's up there because otherwise I would forget moment to moment. Downward pressure, however, consumer discretionary, healthcare, and telecom stocks. The great Caleb Silver is on deck. We'll get his take on just a bit right after the bell for what he sees on today's tape, how he and retail investors are thinking about not just the SpaceX IPO, but OpenAI, Anthropic, a few other big names as well. Mag 7, maybe somewhat ironically, kind of muted reaction across the tape today. Tesla, the outperformer, maybe appropriately so. Amazon shares down about 1.5% as we hit the closing auction. Goldman, Verizon, JP Morgan, those are your outperformers in the Dow 30 today. Your Dow laggards, Amazon, Apple, Nike. That's an early bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Take a look. I was like, am I wrong? All right, pay no attention to the brokers. You may hear it down here. You know what, it's a Friday. We could do a 30-second bell if we want. The team from Voyager here to do the honors. They will also join us on the broadcast here in just a bit. And why not? Let's give our viewers the final tale of the tape. It's one of those weeks in New York, very little thing makes sense. You get 30-second bells. The Knicks are a game away from the NBA championship. The vibes are very high here in the city, so pardon us, folks. The S&P 500, final tale of the tape, in positive territory, 0.5%. The Dow is up, looks like 0.7. How about the New York Stock Exchange Composite Index? I need to double check this. Closing at an all-time high by about 20 points, and it's not alone. How about the small caps? The Russell 2000, 29.43, best its previous all-time high close as well. Oil prices taking a step back, maybe between 2 and 3%, and that means a significant boost for the airlines. Outperformance today from names like Frontier as well as Allegiant. The retailers having a pretty good day. Gains in that particular sector led by names like Target, Macy's, Ross. The autos doing well, led by Rivian. Semiconductors steadily continuing their march higher, not very far off from their previous all-time highs. And the memory stocks catching a bid on the day today. The best performer there, Western Digital, up 7%. All of this and much more as investors get set for Kevin Warsh's first Fed day on Wednesday of next week. It's also dot plot projection day. We got a dot plot reference on the show. Now it's a party. Let's bring in the great Caleb Silver, the one and only, for his take on today's tape and much more. My man, thanks for being here. We got a lot of stuff going on.
We do, absolutely. I mean, you got the rock, baby, so let's distribute that rock. And dot plot, you got dot plot in the show within the first couple of minutes. That's worthy.
There was so much press, like, when do I mention the dot plot? I'm glad we got it in.
You nailed it.
I forgot. So, actually, you know what? Well, yeah, we'll get to Warsh in a second. We bounced off these Tuesday lows here pretty nicely for a lot of these markets. You get the sense animal spirits are still doing their thing as we close out another week on the street.
Yeah, they're hungry right now, and good news or potential good news on a ceasefire, that's what's lifting the markets. That's what dragged the markets lower last week. So just the volatility we've had in the last couple of weeks has been kind of extraordinary. Good day to go public, though, if you're a huge space company on a green day. No coincidence there. That said, retail appetite is really strong, especially for this stock. The question is, will it remain strong for a lot of the other stocks that have been a part of the rally for the last 5 to 10 years?
More broadly, how are you? I mean, I feel like we've had such a big run-up to today's launch, no pun intended, for SPCX. We know a lot of the big story. We know the lofty valuation. How have you been thinking about this day coming into today's IPO? What are you hearing from readers of Investopedia who want to learn more, become smarter investors about this day?
Yeah, well, they want to know everything about this IPO and how it's structured. They want to know how Elon Musk's compensation is structured. The world's first trillionaire could make even more money if he hits some of these milestones. They also want to know what ETFs they can access that are going to give them access to SpaceX if they don't want to buy it at the IPO. But guess what? It's going to be in their index funds in a minute here, so they're going to end up owning it whether they want to or not. But you got a big stock like this making a massive debut, potentially opening the gates for Anthropic, for OpenAI, for Databricks, for a bunch of other companies. A lot of new stock and equity coming to the market, JD. Is there going to be enough money for all of it?
Do you get a sense yet from retail investors, the people out there, people who are reading Investopedia, they say, I want to get involved with a lot of these big high-profile listings, I just maybe don't exactly know where to start.
Yeah.
What types of questions are they coming to you and your team with?
They want to know which broker is going to allow them to buy this stock. They want to know if their broker's lowered the minimums, and in some cases like Fidelity, that's actually happened. They want to know everything about a letter of intent or interest of intent to buy the IPO, how you actually register to do that, and then they want to know about performance. And when you think about performance of mega IPOs, big first day pop here, the question is, will this be the case 2-3 weeks from now? And there's a lot of lockup money that is betting that it will be. A lot of lockup expirations happen if the stock continues 30% or higher over the next few days.
Caleb, you and I, for the last several years here, we've talked about retail investor interest in these big Mag 7 names. They say you got a little bit of extra cash to put to work in the market. They're going into names like NVIDIA, maybe like AMD. Has that stood the test of time? We're now a few years removed from kind of the peak hype of the Mag 7 names. You have a little bit of divergence between them. Is it time for maybe a new acronym? Are there other non-Mag 7s that you think are worthy of consideration to be in that category?
Yeah, well, we've heard from our buddy Josh Brown, who created the Halo group there,
That's right.
Hard assets, low obsolescence, the non-AI companies. You'll see a whole new nomenclature and some alphabet soup for this series of space companies and AI companies, and the combination of space and AI together, that's where SpaceX is intended to be, so absolutely. But you're also, I wonder if investors are going to start trading out of some of the older names that have made them millionaires over the last decade or so. When you look at a company like Apple, it had the WWDC this week. Wasn't any major news, but we wanted to see the Siri AI rollout, the Apple Intelligence rollout. Guess what? Stock fell 2%. Today, like today, market's up. You said NASDAQ at a potential record. Apple down another 2% while the rest of the market's drifting higher. I'm not saying that they're trading one for the other, but they might have to make this decision ultimately about what are the companies they want in their portfolio for the next 5 to 10 years. Might not look like the companies they've had for the past 5 to 10 years.
I'm about out of time. Another stock that reached there. A lot of stocks hit all-time highs this week, including MSGS, Madison Square Garden. Jimmy Dolan, the CEO, one win away from an NBA championship. You're a great New York sports fan. Yeah. How are you thinking about this team in this moment tomorrow night?
I'm having a hard time controlling myself right now,
yeah.
and I haven't really slept since this series started. So I'm hoping for orange and blue skies. As a longtime Knicks fan, it's really hard to feel like this type of confidence, but this team is awesome. They play for each other. They refuse to let each other lose. I'm pretty confident here, as confident as you can be as a Knicks fan. Let's go Knicks.
The OG Anunoby of the financial markets, the great Caleb Silver, my man. Come back anytime. Enjoy the weekend. Root him in tomorrow. Let's go Knicks, huh?
Let's go.
And I'll take your mic. Here are the few we're not doing analyst calls today, excuse me. We're going to bring you the latest Polymarket odds as participants try and figure out who is going to win the World Cup. Again, there's a lot going on. More than $2 billion, yeah, that's billion with a B, total in $1 billion in total trade volume. Favorite to win it all, Spain, 17% odds. France coming in next at 16, followed them by Portugal and England at 11 and 10% respectively. Brazil and Argentina rounding out the top 6. And let's go USA, I heard. There you go, Sal. USA locked currently at 1% odds to win it all. At least there's a chance. USA's journey to the World Cup Championship kicks off tonight against Paraguay, 9 o'clock Eastern. The World Cup final scheduled for Sunday, July 19th at MetLife Stadium, which is my mother's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. I know you're watching the show. Bobby, let's take a look at a couple stocks that call the New York Stock Exchange their home. We'll start with Warby Parker. TD Cohen reiterating Warby as a buy, saying they see growth in the core business driven by footprint expansion, as well as just general increased awareness about things like the importance of getting your eye exam. Shares of Warby up 2.3% on the day, up about 18% year to date. Bobby, how about Williams-Sonoma? Look at this stock, up 2.2 almost percent, hitting an all-time high after Bank of America upgraded the stock to a buy rating from neutral. They say the company is a rare, qualified compounder in the sector of consumer discretionary. Shares up 20% since the start of 2026. In this third and final installment of NYC Innovates, Cheddar's very own Chris Castellino explains how the historic Brooklyn Army Terminal is being transformed into a hub for climate innovation. Take a look.
Most New Yorkers commute right past it. A massive complex of iron and concrete along the Sunset Park waterfront. A relic of a past war and another century. But step inside these walls today and you'll find something surprising. I'm standing inside the historic Brooklyn Army Terminal, where today's startups are testing the technologies to build the cities of tomorrow.
We're taking photos of Pier 4, looking for any type of damage to the structure.
There are 1 billion bikes in the world. We don't need to replace them all with e-bikes.
Every 30 seconds, somebody is safely swapping a battery.
In this episode of NYC Innovates, we'll find out how the walls of history transformed into a laboratory for what comes next. We'll discover why New York City invested $100 million to revitalize this waterfront complex, and meet the companies using these streets as their secret test track before their technology hits yours. Stay with us. Not every climate solution is a grand infrastructure project. Some of them weigh 8 pounds and fit in a bag. Clip is a Brooklyn-based company with a deceptively simple idea.
Clip is a clean mobility company. We are building a super affordable platform, an e-bike upgrade platform, to upgrade any regular old bike into an e-bike. You can attach to any bike without any tools. The motor, the controller, the battery, everything is in here. I moved to Brooklyn and I was working at the Navy Yard, and I live in Park Slope, and I would ride my bike every day. Within a month, it kind of became boring, the road kind of doing A, B every day. So I started thinking if there was a way to quickly upgrade my bike. I loved the bike that I already had. I didn't want to buy like a new e-bike. I like riding my bike on the weekends, in the park in its pure analog form. So I just needed the assist for rides like today, for example, in the heat to get over here or, get to work. So that was when I started thinking about, could we have an e-bike upgrade that we could attach to a bike?
A single clip charge takes 30 to 40 minutes and delivers 6 to 8 miles of assisted range, enough for 80% of all urban passenger commutes. At $500, it's a fraction of the cost of a new e-bike. And there's a new version coming.
Neon is born out of the insight that there are some people who need an e-bike all the time. And what that basically translates to is a hub motor. And a hub motor is something that gets you the closest experience to a full-on e-bike. This is going to be a $279 with a subscription sort of aspect to it in terms of the battery.
Testing on the Brooklyn Army Terminal campus did more than validate the hardware. It reshaped the product itself.
Being here, having a community, a real community to kind of engage with, leaving some of our devices with them over a period of time and getting long-term feedback, using that feedback into what's kind of now flowing into some of our next sort of product iterations. All of that is just extremely valuable.
The company currently has 1,200 units in the field in the US, is launching in Europe within months, and is exploring partnerships with bicycle relief organizations in India, Africa, and Latin America.
You don't really need, like a heavy-duty e-bike to do the job. A bike like this, use it like a regular bike on some days, and on some days when you need that assist, you kind of, clip it on and you're ready to go.
Today, what ships out from the Brooklyn Army Terminal are cutting-edge ideas.
What gives me the greatest hope is those who are dreaming of a different alternative, dreaming of a different way of doing things. It's a risk, but I want to put forth an idea about a technology or a solution or a service that I think can have a meaningful impact, not just in generating revenue, but in generating jobs and genuine climate impact. And those founders are the ones that give me an immense amount of energy.
We feel pressure on our infrastructure, on how New Yorkers are experiencing affordability. Utility bills have never been higher. And so the city and the state are really committed to investing in the green economy here in New York City. I think we are not tied to federal headwinds, right? Like climate change is going to continue to be important regardless of which federal administration is calling the shots. And so we as New York City are really committed to delivering on BATWorks and think that delivery of it is more urgent than ever.
A building that once supplied the tools for war is now supplying the tools of a different kind of survival. Cleaner air, cleaner streets, and a city safer for all New Yorkers. Where should we explore next? Let us know in the comments below. Your suggestion might just be our next episode. For Cheddar, I'm Chris Castellino.
Welcome back to the show. You are watching the special Friday edition of Taking Stock. It's special because it's Friday and because I decided to call it that. Please welcome to the show our next guest. Johan Kerbrat is the SVP and GM at Robinhood Crypto. Johan, it is great to see you here. So please help me better understand. The world is flat. That's what the event is called. What is it all about? Why is it called that? And what does this mean for the moment of finance that we're in?
Yeah, so Robinhood will host The World is Flat. It's going to be on July 1st. It's a Wednesday, and it's going to be from the historic Old Royal Naval College in London. It's going to be a fun show, a fun keynote where we'll introduce a new suite of products and provide updates on everything that we have on the crypto side, but also news about our international expansion. And we'll highlight new ways for customers to access and engage with global markets. So the live stream will begin at 7 p.m. BST, or that's 2 p.m. in Eastern Time. It will be available on the Robinhood app, on X, on YouTube. And really the reason why it's called that way, I think you will discover it during the show.
Okay, hey, listen, we call that a tease in the news business. I like it. Why host the event in London? What does that tell us about Robinhood's global ambitions?
Well, we did launch our application, our brokerage application, in the UK a few years ago, and we're also live in the EU for crypto products. So for us, it's very important to bring our customers together, to be able to learn from them, to be able to show them all the new products that we're launching. And so London was kind of an obvious choice after doing it in France last year. And really it shows that our ambition is not just in the US, but to really expand internationally. And we've seen that also last week after the close of the acquisition of WonderFi in Canada.
Perfectly tee me up to the next question I'm going to ask you. Let's talk more about WonderFi in Canada. Why was Canada the right next market, and what should people know about the WonderFi deal?
Yeah, I think for us, the Canadian market is very important. Obviously, being the neighbors, they already know the brand pretty well. And so, for us, it was very important to acquire a company that operates two of the largest platforms in Canada, BitBuy and CoinSquare. And so, we were really excited. They are also working with the regulator pretty well. They already hold a zero registered investment dealer license. And so we really make it one of the most regulated crypto platform in Canada. So we will be able to use that compliance foundation and to grow the regional business into making it what customers are used to when they use Robinhood. And slowly customer will be able to transition into the Robinhood ecosystem, being able to trade the assets, being able to use new products and services. So for us, we're a really exciting time. We are going to be able to finally serve Canadian customers that have been reaching out for a long time. And we'll be able to use this foundation as a crypto product to expand to other products that we offer currently.
Work in Canada, work in the UK, not much rest for you and the team, I would assume. Congrats on all the expansion and the success, Johan. Very grateful for you joining the Friday edition of the show. Johan Kerbrat, SVP and GM at Robinhood Crypto. We'll see you again soon. Don't go anywhere. A jam-packed edition of Taking Stock coming up right after this. Stick around. Welcome back to the show. John Baum joins us now, better known as Slick. Of course, he is the Chief Innovation and Marketing Officer at Voyager Technology. Slick, nice to see you. Thanks for taking some time.
JD, thanks for having me. What a historic day for space, for aerospace and defense. I mean, we're just so excited to be here with you.
I mean, today was a wild day. We had such a big run-up to this listing today, and it's not just SpaceX. There's so many other parts of the space economy. Right. How are you thinking about the enormity of a day like today and what it means as soon as the market opens on Monday?
Well, I tell you, not to sound cliche, but the rising tides lift all ships, right? So this is, again, a big day. SpaceX is our launch partner with one of our big projects, Starlab. So we are super excited to see their success, and we're ready to ride with them in 2029.
How about the experience for you and the team to be down here on the trade floor of the New York Stock Exchange? Such a history-setting day, and you got to ring the closing bell. What was that like?
We did. I mean, historic day, as you mentioned, to be here with the opening of SpaceX, but just to be here with our team under the leadership of Dylan Taylor and Matt Kuta. I mean, talk about a powerhouse of two individuals. Our co-founders are great. I know you met Dylan and interviewed him before. Wonderful, wonderful leader. To have our friends, families, co-workers all with us today, ringing the closing bell on a Friday like this, it's just, I'm pinching myself. It's incredible.
I want to get your take on this deal with Astrobotic, $300 million lunar platform deal. Every time I read about these headlines, Slick, they sound awesome, but to be honest, I know and understand very little of it. So why is this important? Why is it such a priority right now?
Well, there's a few things to unpack there. I mean, first and foremost, we have what Dylan has really dubbed our 3 L's, being in Leo, Lunar, and Lagrange. So we want to be above Earth at all times. In Leo, we're endeavoring to go to the moon with being part of the Artemis and the great vision that we have being executed by our administrator, Jared Isaacman. And then, of course, thinking about deep space and all of these things we have to get from one rung to the next to go to Mars eventually and beyond. So we're just really excited to have the infrastructure. We made an investment in Max Space, and now to have this investment, having power, having rovers, and having landers being able to go to the lunar surface to get all of our technologies together. It's just such a power play. Being a Pennsylvanian, having another Pennsylvania company there out in Pittsburgh, we're just super excited to bring space to the Commonwealth as well, and just to continue to grow Voyager, to have Voyagers across 50 states would be amazing.
And we've had so much incredible enthusiasm here in the New York Stock Exchange community. We've had various NASA officials down here, including Mr. Isaacman, who has before rung the remote opening bell before, which he did from the ISS. We had the Artemis 2 astronauts down here, so the enthusiasm is real. How do you hope to better capitalize on this really incredible moment? It's not just NASA. It's all of these other private and public partners are having.
Well, I really appreciate you capturing all of that. And for us, we had a really cool moment, as you know, before we ring the closing bell. We've got our family, our friends, and our co-workers together. And Dylan gave an incredibly moving speech, as you can imagine, and having our kids here. My kids are here, and for Dylan to eloquently say, we are going to leave you a world that's better than today. And today is pretty amazing, but for our kids, for the next generation, to inspire them to want to have careers in aerospace, for the next engineers, for the next astronauts, all of those things to build hardware that's going to allow us to explore and live in space. I mean, what an exciting time on this Friday.
What most excites you before I let you go? Something that you think a lot about this general equation, this incredible moment, this conversation, you would want more people to also pay attention to?
Well, I tell you, I mean, America has led in space, and we will continue to lead in space. We have other competitors, we have other folks, and if we don't continue to have a free market economy by leveraging space, we could lose it to folks that maybe don't have the same values that we do. So I think that's why we are all in, completely invested in our future and our kids' future, and we're going to do it in space.
Slick, you're the man. Congratulations. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the
Thank you,
broadcast
JD.
today. It's really good to have you. Slick Baum, Chief Innovation Marketing Officer at Voyager Technologies. Thanks a lot for being here. Good to see you. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Taking Stock coming up on this Friday right after this. Awesome. Great. Welcome back to the show. Time now for a few headlines in the world of fintech, crypto, and artificial intelligence. You need to know for your Friday as you head into the weekend. First up, Bitcoin and ETH at this hour, both down fractionally, Solana up fractionally. Next up, Elon Musk has become the world's first trillionaire. Yeah, that's trillion with a T. Following SpaceX's record-breaking IPO today, his net worth now topping $1 trillion. That's incredible. Finally, Jeff Bezos backed Prometheus, raising $12 billion at a $41 billion valuation to build what it calls an artificial general engineer for the explicit purposes of industrial design. And now Money 2020's very own Scarlett Sieber is back to explain the ways that fintech companies actually make their money. Take a look.
I'm Scarlett Sieber with Money 2020, and this is how fintech companies actually make money, where accounting finally meets AI. Two words I never thought I'd put together, but here we are. Today we're going to be talking about Vic.ai. Most accounting work isn't strategic, it's exception handling. Vic.ai uses AI to automate accounting decisions, flagging anomalies and learning what should be boring. By the way, I was an accounting major, so I know about boring. So how does Vic.ai actually make that money? First, enterprise SaaS contracts sold to accounting teams and firms. Second, complexity pricing. Larger books, higher value. Third, trust compounding. Once a system learns, it becomes indispensable. This isn't about automation for speed, it's automation for confidence. And that, my friends, is how Vic.ai actually makes that money, by monetizing certainty during close. Drop the next fintech that you want broken down below, and it just might make the cut. In the meantime, back over to you.
Next week on Wall Street, Fed Day Wednesday, the first one with brand new chair of the central bank, Mr. Kevin Warsh. We will see what he has in store. We also got those dot plot projections crossing the wire Wednesday as well. We'll also get quarterly results from Kroger, Accenture, and Dave & Buster's, a personal favorite of mine. Tonight, USA Paraguay kick off the World Cup, and tomorrow, Game 5 in San Antonio. Knicks in 5. Thank you for watching today's edition of Taking Stock. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.